Samir, search for Uhuru. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get some more people in the chat room. Couple of announcements before we get started. Uh, Number one, tour coming up in March in Nigeria, March 20th through the 26th, March 20th through the 26th. If you want to join, let me know. Let me know. Email me. Just go to dynastamir.com, dynastamir.com, or go to Uhuru, or email me at Uhuru at searchforuhuru.com. But to make it easier, I streamlined everything. So just go to dynastamir.com. Second tour coming up. This one is in August for the Oshun Festival. Okay, this is for the Oshun Festival. So if you're interested in going to Nigeria with us in August, August 13th through the 19th, August 13th through the 19th, shout out to Pan Africanism Strikes Back in the chat room, everybody. If you want to attend the Oshun Festival with us, that is August 13th through the 19th in Nigeria. Please hit me up. Go to dynastamir.com, send me a message. Just go to dynastamir.com, send me a message. And then December 4th through 12th, our collaboration with Blacksit, Tour de Sierra Leone, December 4th through 12th. Hit me up if you are interested. Again, just go to dynastamir.com, send me a email, and we'll get you plugged in. So just want to let everybody know, if you want to roll with us, you have the opportunity. People are always asking, Dynast, I want to go to Africa with you. Well, okay, here we go. I'm going to do 4 tours a year. So the plan is I'm going to do 4 tours a year myself, and then I'm going to curate tours because of the relationships I've established over, going to Africa since 2011. I'm going to start curating tours for people who want to go, where you could go. I have the guides meet you, take you around. I can have everybody take you around. So that announcement is coming soon as well. But I wanted to discuss the Malcolm X documentary. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Okay, if you haven't seen it yet, just to let you know, you might want to change the channel. No, stay. Don't leave us. Don't leave. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. Let me start off with this. So, as many of you know, I am a graduate of the University of Georgia. Graduated in 2005. Should have graduated in 2004, but I was on a 6-year plan. God damn. Yeah. Graduated in 2005, but I should have really graduated in like 2003. But again, I was on a 6-year plan. But I graduated. Got my degree. Here. Got my degree right here. I need to frame it. I got my degree right here. Before I changed my name, Albert Horton Hollis II. Before I changed my name, you guys. Bam. There you go. Agricultural business, University of Georgia. But I used to get my hair cut. I believe the barbershop was called Huff's. I don't remember. It was on Broad Street. So right when you exited downtown Athens, the barbershop was on the right. So I would go there sometime to get my hair cut. I think it was called Huff's. I don't remember. Dorian, something like that. So I remember, and all this is going to tie in. I remember one day I go get my hair cut and I look across the street and I noticed a building being erected. It was an Egyptian style building. And I asked my barber, I was like, what are they building over here? And he was, my barber was like, yeah, some cult, that believes they came from outer space. They call themselves the Wabians. They're building that. That's going to be like a new temple or something. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And then I remember, this is back maybe 2002, maybe 2001, 2002, something like that. Then I remember I go back and I noticed construction, or there was a for sale sign or something was going on. And I said, what happened? And they said their leader, Dr. Malachi Z. York, got arrested on pedophilia charges, statutory rape charges, pedophilia charges. I was like, oh damn. So that was the end of that. And child abuse, pedophilia, he got railroaded. So like, okay, yeah, that cult. I mean, that's what happens in cults. That's what I was saying to myself. So fast forward to like 2006 or 2007, I meet a friend of mine who was a Nuwabian. And we started to talk, and I told him, like, yeah, you're part of that cult, that Nuwabian cult. Yeah, I remember the temple. I went to school in Athens. I remember you guys had a strong presence in Athens because they were in Etaton at the time. And Etaton from Athens was maybe an hour and a half at the most, I believe. So I remember, we're talking, and we're just, he's just telling me about his experience. He's telling me about, uh, just everything in general. Ya Ankara Akan, the guy I think if you're referring to, that's not really his son. I mean, the Wabian Nation, that's a whole nother show. But the guy you're referring to is not really his son. There are a lot of people that just claim to be Dr. York's son, but they're not really his son. That, but like I said, that's a whole nother broadcast. That's a whole nother show. So, me and him started to discuss. He started showing me the books. I started reading the books, and I was amazed. So I ended up joining the Ancient Egyptian Order, AEO, which was part of the Nuwabian Nation. I joined the AEO, Ancient Egyptian Order. I read Dr. York's book. I still have, shoot, man, I have almost 80, probably like between 60 of Dr. York's books here right now. Yeah, a lot of people claim to be his sons, but they're not really his birth sons. They just claim to be his sons. So what Dr. York would do, he would adopt individuals and say, hey, that's my son. But they'll take it and run with it like they're really his son. So, yeah. So just observing and hanging and spending more time around the Wabians. Anybody who's familiar with Uncle Bun who had the store at Underground, I would go always holler at Uncle Bun, get books, chop it up with him. But one thing I noticed, and this isn't just limited to the Wabians, it's just one thing I noticed, a lot of people gave up everything. They gave up everything to join a lot of these organizations. I've seen it with the Hebrew Israelites, Nuwabians, Jehovah's Witness. I mean, you see it. But then when an organization like the Nuwabians get railroaded and shut down, these people who left everything they had to be a part of these organizations and completely dedicate themselves to the organizations, when these organizations get shut down, they have nothing to show for it. And they have to start from scratch. Outside of the books, they have nothing to show for it. Shishay, that's another show. And that's not necessarily true. That's Shishay, that's not true. They have nothing to show for it. I mean, it's just like corporate America. Your kids cannot inherit anything from these groups. They can't inherit it. And the thing is, when I got in the group, when I was part of the AEO, they would criticize me for working a job, but then turn around asking for money so they could pay, so they could asking for money so they could help feed their families and pay their cell phone bill. So I got away. I just got tired of I'll call it the poor, the woke is, if you're woke, you got to be broke, the poor righteous teacher mindset. Like I was working in corporate America But then like I would go to work and I would come home and I would like read and teach about just how, capitalism is bad and money is no good. And then I just started to Scientology is another one. Scientology is another one. But and then I just having with conversations with people in the group and how they're struggling and asking for money. But I thought money was bad, but you need money. It just stopped adding up. So I kind of just went my own way. Because again, like you said, shout out to Susan. When it folds, you are left with nothing. I saw the aftermath. These people were left with nothing. They were left with absolutely nothing. What am I getting to? Yeah, I mess with. I love Reverend Ike. Yeah, shout out to Reverend Ike. Check out Reverend Ike. That's my philosophy, Reverend Ike. Why do I want to bring this up? So I watched the Malcolm X who killed who shot Malcolm X documentary. Shout out to Debbie. Uh, the other day. In fact, I watched it Saturday and Sunday. Now, outside of William Bradley, who was one of the accused killers, him and people knew he played a role in the murder of Malcolm X, allegedly. Allegedly, people know he played a role in the killing of Malcolm X. Allegedly, allegedly, but he was still allowed to walk around the streets of Newark as nothing happened, as a free man. I mean, no fear of retaliation, as nothing happened. He was even in Cory Booker, lying Cory Booker. He was in Cory Booker's one of his campaign ads. He was in there. And Cory Booker got called out on a question about it. You could just tell either Cory Booker was just lying. Oh, I started bucking. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, God. Oh, I got to investigate. Oh. You knew Cory. Cory knew the whole time who William Bradley was. But watch when you watch the documentary, Cory Booker, when the guy questioned, hey, Cory, did you know William Bradley, the person that was accused or allegedly was involved in the murder of Malcolm X, was actually in your campaign video? Oh my God. I gotta go investigate. Oh man, I had no, I was not aware. But that wasn't my biggest takeaway. My biggest takeaway, which really hurt me and really just broke my heart. Malcolm X, before he died, was homeless and had $150 to his name and no life insurance. That right there is what hurt me. Yeah. Cory Booker was when dude asked me, "Hey, Cory, did you know that this guy that allegedly was involved in the murder of Malcolm X was in your campaign video?" Oh my God, I'm just, oh my God, I wasn't aware. Oh my God, I got to investigate. I got to go look into that. Oh man. Malcolm had $150 to his name, no life insurance, was homeless. That hurt me. That hurt me. All the work he dedicated his life to the NOI. And yes, we got the message. We got the Malcolm X T-shirts. Maybe from the movies and the apparel and the schools. I don't know. Maybe the family is better off or well off. Yeah, they said he was well, the guys, and this is woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, Malcolm went to Africa. He should took his family there and stayed. That's what that's what he should have done. Me again, it's after the fact. When he went to Africa, he should have took his family and they just went to Africa. That's just me personally. Because they're trying to still kill him, his family, firebomb. He had the NOI after him. Rogue. Okay, hold on. Let me. How do? Okay, I don't. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. We'll just say rogue members of the NOI. Rogue members of the NOI had it out for him. I think that's better. Shout out to DeMarco Davis. But that really hurt me. And the thing is, he gave up everything for the NOI. Now, some people will say, Dinas, well, Elijah Muhammad raised him up when he was in prison. I think Malcolm Little, Detroit Red was his nickname. Raised him up, gave him everything, his house, salary, gave him everything. But he just didn't, when he left NOI, he left with nothing, no assets. Which is another lesson. You can't be completely dependent on these organizations like that. That's the thing. You can't be dependent on organizations like that. And this is common. Our teachers, whether it be Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, I mean, they die broke with nothing to show. And then, the team woke is broke. I'm not a capitalist, but I'm a socialist, Marxist, communist. They'll come on here and cry and whine and tell you that you ain't real, you ain't keeping it real because you monetize your YouTube page. I'm about building generational wealth. I'm about leaving legacy, assets, something for my son. So, yes, I'm monetizing everything. Period. The Orthodox Muslim community was offering him much dollars to be their mouthpiece. Like I said, Malcolm X's home was bombed on February 14th, 1965, with his family trapped inside, and he had the heart to still make it to the mosque to deliver his speech. I say, like I said, shout out to College Genesis. Like I said, I would have stayed in Africa. People had to get a collection to bury Dr. John Henry Clark. Our teachers shouldn't go out like that. Our teachers shouldn't go out like that. I'm just saying, our teachers should not go out like that. We should be supporting them financially, not just a hey, good job, brother, good job. And the thing about it is, like, I'm really not surprised because speed up to 2020, we can't even get you Negroes to like a video. We can't even get you Negroes to subscribe. We can't get you to like a video. We can't get you to subscribe. So it still goes on to this day. Like I'm not surprised. Can't get your niggas to share a video. Can't get you to subscribe. Can't get you to like a video. You'll complain about certain platforms because woke supposed to equal broke, being monetized. So yeah, I'm not surprised. It still goes on to this day. We do not support our teachers, but we do support the tomfoolery, the clowning, the buck dancing. Like College Unit said, we're supposed to be broke and keeping it real. Nah, not me. I want in abundance. I want this platform to grow. I want this platform to grow bigger and outside of YouTube. I want this to monetize. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I want. Those are my intentions. Because at the end of the day, it's simple. I mean, it's simple. I mean, my idea of capitalism is somebody has a product or service and you see value in it, you exchange, you pay for it. That's what it is. Again, if you see a product or service and you find value in it, you pay for it. That to me is capitalism. Now, can people exploit and abuse capitalism? Absolutely. But the minute people start talking that just capitalism is evil, I'm a communist, Marxist, Stalinist, socialist. We cool. I disagree because everybody that talks that talk is on the same path of not being in a position to leave an inheritance. I can't be around it. I need an abundance. Thank you. We need our own billionaires and millionaires. Absolutely. We need black billionaires and millionaires. I applaud them. Absolutely. Period. Period. We need black billionaires and millionaires. You go be a communist, socialist, Marxist. Go ahead. That's fine. We cool, but you go over, go and go be a communist, socialist, Marxist. That's go do your thing. Eric Summers again. How am I exploiting somebody if they have a product or service that I find value in and I give them exchange of money? How is that exploiting them? So I have enough products or services that my people find value in, and I make $1 million. How is that? How is that exploitation? How is that exploitation? I don't get it. Yes, there are some people that are greedy and exploit capitalism and abuse it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that there aren't. But this dusty Negroism talk I hear on how if you woke, you gotta be broke. Communist, socialist, Marxist. I haven't seen where it works. Somebody just super chatted. Yes, sir. Money is the residual of striving to be the best at something. Malcolm was the best orator on the planet who fell victim to the best con man on the planet, point blank. And add me when you bring people on. All right, we're gonna open up the lines. Pan Africanism, you want on? You want on? We'll take a couple calls. We'll take a couple calls. If you want on, send me an email. I'm gonna put my email in the chat room. Uhuru at search for uhuru.com. If you want on, Uhuru at search for uhuru.com. If you want on, send me an email. I'll take a couple calls. I will take a couple calls. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Please hit that like button. Please share, and please subscribe. Please do that at the least. Again, if you want on, send me an email. I'll send the link. But again, if you have not watched the documentary, it's a very good documentary. I would definitely suggest you go watch it. I mean, it's probably the best documentary or movie on Malcolm X I've seen, because it really went in depth and got into the weeds of Malcolm X, his story. It really got into his relationship with Muhammad Ali. Like I said, it's a very good production, very good documentary. Our Pan Africanism Strikes Back. I just sent the link to you. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I watched it Saturday and I watched it Sunday. Like I said, it's on Netflix. Who Shot Malcolm X? Who Shot Malcolm X? Yeah, it's tragic, man. See, I didn't know. I know, we knew about the rift between him and the NOI, but people never really went into detail on it, and this. I'll go ahead, bro.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Basically, like I posted earlier, Malcolm X was the best orator on the planet. He just fell victim to the best con man on the planet. Basically, Elijah Muhammad was able to get Malcolm X's services for free. He converted them, and Malcolm had true faith in what he was talking about. But Malcolm trusted them to take care of him. So what they did is they basically bird fed him. Oh, we're going to give you a house. We're going to give you a little pocket change. But they didn't do anything to set Malcolm up to be his own man. Everything was done under the umbrella
let me stop you right there. That's corporate America.
No, this is the thing. But in corporate America, at least they offer you a steady income. They let you set up a 401k if you want to. You can do whatever you want with your money once they give it to you. Corporate America does not inhibit your ability to make money. You can always go start a second job, start your own business on the side. Corporate America allows you to make money. You choose to go into service of them. Elijah Muhammad was able to silence Malcolm X, basically shut him down and inhibit him from making money. There was a lot of things that he was able to do. He was in control of this dude's life, basically. He gave his life over. And that's how people are. If you give a person a sense of purpose, they will give you their soul. I'm a person who was a Jehovah's Witness before. I saw those people out there broke and all that stuff. And one of the main things I realized was the white dudes at the top was rich, business owners, the elders and all that. They were rich. But all the people, the niggas, because you know the majority of Jehovah's Witnesses is black in America.
You know what's crazy? Now, okay, you just said something because the majority of the door knockers are all black and Hispanic.
And guess what? And I noticed that. I was like, and what I noticed was that the workers, that was the workers. They were like the overseers, and they literally had those kind of names, overseers, elders. You went out and did their hustle to gain them money while they sat on their butt, because those dudes was never out there knocking on doors. But what they were doing was they were giving people's lives purpose. And because they were doing that, people were willing to give them anything. Me, I was like, damn that. I'm not missing another day of work to come sit up in this place with y'all because my boss is threatening to fire me. I got a family to take care of, and you telling me to just trust in God or whatever. But you have to have that mental fortitude to say, look, man, if a man don't work, he don't eat. And everything comes along with being able to read things and understand what they mean beyond what someone's telling you they mean. Malcolm X, he understood, he had a deep understanding of what Islam represented and what it stood for. But he purposely put blinders on himself so he could maintain a sense of loyalty to Elijah Muhammad. But Elijah Muhammad wasn't loyal to anybody but himself, because loyalty would have told you, don't be messing with no little girls or no young women, because you want to keep the integrity of your organization. Even in the study groups that I teach, there's girls that come in there that like me. There's woke chicks who are beautiful and amazing. And some guys in the groups talk to those women. But I don't even look at them because I say, I want to keep the integrity of this group. I can find a woman outside of this group. And Elijah Muhammad, he, as wise as he was, he didn't understand that. He was violating his own principles. He was falling victim to his own flesh and his lust. You know what I'm saying?
But I think the crazy thing, though, is, so before Malcolm, I want to say the membership was maybe like 300 people. After Malcolm, 25,000.
He made that guy millions. He made that guy millions. And this guy was such a selfish person. He couldn't even say, look, man, Malcolm, I'm eating off you. Let me at least make sure you set for life. Let me give you, because look at this. Like, say you're the CEO of a corporation, right? Dynas, the CEO makes a ridiculous amount of money, right? That's what attracts CEOs to your company. The CEO knows he might be gone in a short time. So you got to offer him a lot of money for him to come to your company. You basically make that guy set for life to gain his services. Elijah Muhammad couldn't even do that for Malcolm X. He deserved that at least. I want to make sure you and your family never have to worry about money again. Let me give you $5 million. Then go out. That would have only strengthened Malcolm's resolve for the NOI. This guy literally starved this dude. And
man, they said before, have you seen the documentary yet?
I watched a little bit of it, but I just, it's redundant.
They said in his last days, Malcolm was going to therapy like maybe once or twice a day.
Yeah, bro, he knew as a person who was a Jehovah's Witness before, man, and I was very deep inside. You know, the thing is, once you realize that something you put your faith in is all a sham, a lot of people just say, you know what, I've been in it this long, I'm going to double down on this and just stick with it. Also, when there's a sense of nationalism, you don't want to show us a weakness or division to the white man, to the enemy. So Malcolm X knew what was going on, and he tried to stay in it, and he tried to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. But it got so bad and so acute, he just had to leave at the end of the day. Once they started threatening his life and the life of his children, that dude realized he had to leave. And for them to do that, that just shows you what type of low-level scum these dudes are, man. And I'm not saying they're scum because of anything Elijah Muhammad did, but the fact that So many black men know what's going on with that stuff, and they still stand there and act like they don't know that this stuff is not good, bro. It's not good for our people. And once I see that something's not good for our people, I personally reject it. And that's the only way we're gonna move forward. And that's what Malcolm tried to do. And then he got killed.
Yeah, you got to watch the documentary, man. It really
Man,
it
I,
like I was just
I steer away from that stuff, man, because it not only reminds me of myself, my personal situation, but it makes me so angry. And I try to not to look at things that makes me lose faith in black folks. And that situation right there, man, that really hurts me because I'm a passionate person as well, as are you. And we just want to help. And that's Malcolm X. He wanted to help genuinely. And he was preyed upon by his own brothers who was supposed to be with him. And that's where we run the risk. That's why I always support you, even when I get on. I send money and stuff like that. What's $10? What's $5? It's nothing to me. But I support you. I support Phil when I get on because I understand the work it takes to do anything. Even if you're building a little thing, it takes a lot of work. The majority of these people, even people in the comments, they sit in the comments and bicker. They don't hit the like button and stuff because they've never tried to build anything. All they know is to destroy. So when you trying to build, all they're looking at is a weak section to criticize. Even with a guy like Umar Johnson, I'll never criticize him. I don't agree with some of the stuff he does, but I'll never criticize him because you know why? Because I know how much love it takes to even attempt to do something for the community. Yeah. Because you've had people throwing rocks at you the entire time. And that's what Malcolm X did, that same thing. And all it is our heroes, we try to kill them. We try to get rid of them. And there's no need to do it. Or when they die, we don't see where they fell short and try to pick it up where they left off. It's just like, see, I told you, woo, 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 instead of carrying it on. So Malcolm X, man, that brother died with $150 to his name. The thing is, if he was a single person, you could understand it. But this brother had a family. Could you imagine $150 and you got a family? Like,
so I think when he passed away, he already had 3 daughters and his wife was pregnant with twins.
Yep. I mean, the documentary is, all of us should be well versed in Malcolm X's life. I've read his book, his autobiography. We watched the movies. I studied them endlessly, as I do with everybody. So you kind of know the situation. But even in our day, I always relate things to now. You're saying it all. There has to be a place where guys who sacrifice for the community can actually secure a living, secure an existence. You should not have to be poor to help your people because these pastors who our people love and worship ain't poor and they not doing nothing. But they'll tell you, Dynas, you got to be broke to be real. But when Kobe Bryant died, they mourning his death, going running, looking at his murals, and they're mourning for him. Why? He didn't have to be broke for him to gain your love and your admiration. But for us to gain it, for us to help you help yourself, we gotta basically be starving and depend on the chair.
Shabazz Allah, call in. Shabazz Allah, call in. Here's the email. Come jump on. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, but basically, man, it's just like you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to be dead. This dude is
not gonna lie, that documentary, like it depressed me on Sunday. Like I was just like I was low key just sad Sunday.
Bro, listen, the guy Shabazz talks about this guy's uninformed. Why don't you get somebody from the NOI? Man, I got a lot of friends who are in the NOI, and I'm going to tell you, it's just like Hebrew Israelites. These are not brothers who are intellectuals. These are brothers who are followers by nature. So they just regurgitate whatever is told to them. And anybody in this chat, in this video, if they've ever talked to these people, they know that this is true. These brothers they see something they like. A lot of them come out of prison and things like that, and their life has been saved. They've been taken off of drugs. They've left the streets. The NOIs pulled them out of the streets. So they have an emotional attachment. Just like when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I had an emotional attachment to something that was not good for us. Us. It's about us. It might be sweet for me, but it's not good for us. So I can't go spread the poison to you just because it benefits me. And that's what these dudes don't understand, like Shabazz. They are individual minded. They don't care about nobody but themselves. That's why one of my friends, Walter, he's in the NOI. This guy's a multi-millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He sponsored me for jujitsu, $600 a month, every month like clockwork. That guy drives, he got Benzes, all kinds of cars. It's beneficial for him. He's a millionaire. He could buy a new suit, go over to the mosque and look clean and look awesome, right? But how was him being rich helping us? It helped me. But that doesn't mean I was like, well, I'm going to join the NOI because this guy helps me. And a lot of it is that kind of thing where these guys are focused on themselves, but they're telling you, you should join it too, because it's all about building up numbers, you know, so it looks a certain way. But what is the actual impact of it?
Hold on, Alquan, don't come out here trolling, bro.
Oh, no, you know, I keep it all respectful, all peaceful like the last time.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, man. It's funny how they keep coming up with these particular, I guess, Netflix documentary type things where I think they serve as revisionist history. I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I'm guessing. I tried to download it before I came on. It'll be up there pretty soon on the other circuits.
In what way would it be revisionist? I mean, you haven't saw it yet, but where are you getting that from?
Right, because they change the little things. They try to rearrange the focus on a lot of the who did what. I mean, why do you have to ask who shot Malcolm X? We already know who shot Malcolm X. That was Louis Farrakhan.
Okay, all right, Alquan.
No, that's not trolling, man. That's being straight up.
No,
he admitted it. Oh,
no.
man,
He didn't shoot Malcolm X, but he did admit that he was speaking incendiary, inflammatory things concerning Malcolm X that may have played a part in making somebody want to do harm to him. Farrakhan did admit that. I do know that because I've researched this in depth.
And Farrakhan just happened to have been in Newark when it was going down. So
Farrakhan was on the radio at this time.
Yeah,
so he had a large audience.
So that way he can get the news, the New York news, while he was in New Jersey.
Yeah. Farrakhan was very powerful. People don't understand how did the leadership go from Elijah Muhammad to Farrakhan? Because Farrakhan was probably the third most influential person in the NOI behind Malcolm X. That's why when Malcolm died and Elijah Muhammad died, it fell to Farrakhan. Because
I think it's really important. I gotta say this and kind of correct you on that. It didn't fall to Farrakhan. It actually fell to Wallace Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's son, which is still strange how it fell to him because he denounced his father's teachings to his father's face and to his whole congregation. But
yeah, but I want to set the record straight on something. Louis Farrakhan did not.
Not physically.
No, but he did admit, Dynas, he did admit that what he said over the radio waves may have had an influence on Malcolm X being killed. He did admit that, bro. He really did. You can find that.
Okay, but again, I just want to, because from what Alquan was saying, you know, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that Louis Farrakhan did not physically harm Malcolm X.
Right, not physically, but he did help to arrange it. That there's no doubt about that. Look at Omar Shabazz's videos. He makes some pretty good videos on the matter. And I also want to say that Farrakhan's Nation of Islam is not Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, because that was Wallace Muhammad's Nation of Islam, which he turned to Orthodox Islam. Farrakhan's Nation of Islam is his own rebranded startup Nation of Islam. And there are also other Nation of Islams, Son of Man, Royale, Eric Muhammad Temple number 15, and what's my man? I forgot my other man. Nation of Islam Inc. But notice how the media, the white media, they never talk about them. They only talk about Farrakhan, which aids the fact that he's an agent.
No, it's not because he's an agent. It's because Farrakhan is the most dynamic figure among all of those. Farrakhan is the person who has the media's attention. He's the person who the vast majority of people in the Nation of Islam view as the leader. That don't got nothing to do with white people.
But that's not true, though. because those other Nation of Islams, they see him as a traitor.
It is true.
It's true, bro. Why do you think nobody ever heard of the stuff you're talking about?
No. Well, the reason why is because the white media focuses on Farrakhan because they want you to focus on him. They don't want you to talk about the other guys because the other guys are going to talk against Farrakhan. That's why.
Yeah, but I know. So I live in Atlanta in the West End, and there's the other Nation of Islam that passes out newspapers.
You can say him, Eric Muhammad, Temple number 15. You can say it.
Literally right across the street from Farrakhan's Nation of Islam. And so they basically were saying that Farrakhan's Nation of Islam isn't the real Nation of Islam, that their Nation of Islam is the real Nation
right, because they go by the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, while Farrakhan does not.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. But at the end of the day, Farrakhan is still the most dynamic leader of the Nation of Islam or Islam.
Well, he's the most well-known and the only one made official by white people, but he's not the only one. And other Nation of Islams, they do not recognize Louis Farrakhan. They openly speak against him.
Yeah, true.
So, true. I mean, you got okay. Go ahead.
The biggest thing is this, man. Like, if you look at the comments, a lot of people from the Nation of Islam are commenting. People don't understand something if they can't see something if they're too close to it. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, if you would have told me something about the Jehovah's Witness organization, I would have fought you tooth and nail because I was so close to it. Yes, it did seem like the answer to everything, but not until I was able to step away and truly objectively look at it did I see the damage it was doing to me and other people who were in it. The point is, we should never be faulting the people who are taking the lead among us for needing to make money to continue the work that they're doing. That's why I tell people, even with a guy like Dr. Umar Johnson, stop criticizing Umar, because once Umar's gone, who's going to replace him? Don't criticize Dynas, because when Dynas is gone, who's going to replace him? And Dynas, you know just like I do, every single day we are offered the opportunity to leave this fight behind and go work with the white man and make a bunch of money. Because my channel, white people watch my channel and other things that other media I produce on my podcast and stuff like that, and they'd be like, bro, why don't you come work for me? You got a gift. Get on my show, woo, 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 and I could pay you $5,000 a month, etc. And I'm like, nah, because that's not what I believe in. So for people to try to shame you or anybody else for making money to support yourself, all they're doing is setting up us. We basically set it up so that our leaders betray us for monetary gain, because we won't give them nothing. We tell them they got to be poor. So you can only eat cup of noodles so many nights before you start thinking like, dang, bro, I really need some steak. You know what I'm saying? That's why black leaders always sell out, because black people think if you got money, I can't trust you. But when the rich black guy come in who don't give two craps about him, then they love him. They admire him. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. As long as he's saying things that they want to hear, like pastors, preachers, etc.
Because they want some of that money.
They think they could be like them. They love the people who they want to be like. They want to be rich. They want to have the fancy cars and stuff like that. You don't got nothing because you're living a humble existence. So they might think you're cool, and they might, respect. They might respect you, but they don't really respect your message that you're bringing enough for it to invoke any action in what they're, any change in what they're doing, or to have any real power in their lives.
You mind if I just address something that somebody in the chat said earlier? They said something to the effect that Khalid Muhammad left the Nation of Islam.
Stop the show. Stop. Okay. Anybody in the Nation of Islam, call in. I keep putting the email in the chat room. Call in, click the link. Send me an email. I will send you the link, and come on.
They're not going to come on. They're not going to come on.
I'd like them to come on, because they said that Khalid Muhammad left the Nation of Islam. Now, it's on the record.
No. Khalid was kicked out.
Right. It's on the record. He says it out of his own mouth. Just like if the record is straight with with Malcolm X, everything that went on is on the record. What happened? He got kicked out. Farrakhan kicked him out. Why? Because he talked about the white man, and the white man told Farrakhan, kick this black man out, and he did it. And Farrakhan he had no good excuse for it. Except to say I didn't like his tone.
Khalid Muhammad got kicked out for one reason. And if you've ever been in any of these black groups anywhere in the United States, when you are about action, right? And these people are just trying to stay complacent because they have a good thing going where they're making money and they don't got to really do anything. When you rock the boat, they got to get rid of you. I was in a group here. I won't mention the name. But when I started talking about we need to be taking trips to Africa, when I stopped, I was heading a group. When I said we're no longer going to pay people to come and speak, what we're going to do is we will speak amongst ourselves. We will study books, read books, and learn so we can be peers to these people who we worship. We can be their peers as opposed to just their followers. And we're going to save the money we're spending, and we're going to fly to Africa once or twice a year so people could get the experience and you know, they can understand what they're fighting for. I was basically kicked out of that. I was dismissed as the leader of that group because the lady who ran the group was just making money off of that because she was taking the money that was getting put in the pot and she was splitting it. She would give the person who speak a little bit of change and she would keep the lion's share. Once I said that our money was going towards something that benefited the group, the members, gone. I was dismissed. Whenever you mess up the hustle, you will be dismissed. Period.
That's right.
But Alquan, we appreciate you coming on, brother. Let me get Eric.
All right, well, okay. I just want to say, well, thank you for having me. My channel is Hard Cold. Thank you.
Okay, for sure. Peace. Alquan, what happened to your other channel?
Some coons that, let me tell you this, people who hate Pan-Africanism, people who hate pro-black people who hate the people who like ancient Kemet, and people who just hate people who want to bring positivity to black people, they false flag my channel down. Not you guys, but people who hate red, black, and green.
How do you get your channel false flag? I just don't understand how that works.
Apparently, it's pretty easy.
If it gets reported enough, they'll take it down no matter what, even if it's talking about bunnies.
Yeah, they lie and claim that they own stuff, and then YouTube just accepts it and they pull it down.
Oh wow.
It's crazy.
Brother. Well, we'll stay up, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All the Pan-Africanists, man, everybody needs to, we got to build a network amongst ourselves, man. You, Dynas, guys like me, Phil, even Amin Ra, anybody who's talking about the same thing, we have to be different from those cultish organizations, because what they try to do is they try to centralize power and influence with one person. That's what makes it a cult, when it's about one dynamic figure. But if we network this all amongst ourselves, that's how you know it's real. We're just a bunch of brothers who got the same message, and we're trying to talk to the people. That's how you know the validity of it. We're not working together on no money situation or nothing like that. You just bring me on, I watch your videos, I give you money. You know, when I super chat, that's when you know something's authentic.
Mm-hmm. All right, Eric Summers, go ahead, bro.
Peace, y'all. So, I mean, there's a couple of points that I wanted to make. Earlier, we were talking about capitalism, and I do want to jump back into the film. I know that you were talking about capitalism can be abused. And I think one of the best examples of capitalism being abused is with the nation, because Malcolm used to work 20-hour days, wasn't really getting paid for it, really. But not even just Malcolm, because Malcolm, being in leadership, he could have taken advantage if he was a dishonest man and pimped out some of his underlings. But one thing that people don't know about the nation is, and their newspaper system, is that if you selling papers for them, you got to buy the papers like pretty much like up front. Right. And then if you don't sell enough papers, you either going to buy them papers or you're going to get your ass whipped. I mean, you're going to get, excuse my language,
Eric, did you watch the documentary?
Yes, I watched all 6 parts.
They were talking about, the spoiler alert, they were talking about how, I forgot what the code was that they had.
Oh, they take you to the park and bless you. That's the code.
Bless you. Yeah, not selling enough papers. Yeah.
That's a part of, this is a part of how Elijah Muhammad was able to amass so much money. Like if I told you that I was riding around in private jets today, you would assume that I was rich. But what if I told you I was riding around in private jets in the 1960s? That's how Elijah Muhammad was getting it. He was riding around in private jets in the 1960s. Had a home in Phoenix, home in Chicago, farmland everywhere. I mean, this guy was a multimillionaire tax-free. And not only from the exploitation of the members in terms of the beat downs for not selling enough papers and bean pods and things like that, but Malcolm was putting that tax-free status at risk. When you have a situation where Malcolm is willing to go political because the nation has one of their founding principles is we don't turn the other cheek, and if it's an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And so when they had that situation out in LA and brothers were harmed and one of them was killed, Malcolm was ready to live up to the nation's doctrine. Elijah Muhammad, his family, like I said, private jets, mansions, multi-million-dollar status, wasn't about to risk his organization and living off of the principles that he teaches in his religion.
You so trying to fuck up the money?
He chose the money. He told Malcolm to get out of LA. That's one of the first times that Malcolm realized that he wasn't fearless. But another time where capitalism plays a big role in this, and these are things that were left out of the documentary.
But this is the thing, Eric. They didn't identify it as capitalism, though.
They didn't identify it as capitalism, but that's essentially what it is, because he was basically capitalizing off of his following, and he chose the money. Where it becomes dangerous is he chose the money over his principles. Now, I agree with you that we shouldn't be putting brothers down for exchanging goods and services. That's crazy. I believe we should be exchanging goods and services, but I don't think I should be giving you $3 an hour, and I don't think that that you should be choosing money over principles. And that's where capitalism really gets ugly, and that's when people die, because he essentially chose money over Malcolm's life.
Can I say something just about capitalism really quick? Okay,
Absolutely.
Last night a lady came and bought something from me. She walked into my house, she sat up, she talked to my family, we talked in my kitchen for about an hour. I sold her something, she left, right? Dinus, you're here. We have access to you. We can contact you. If I write an email to you, you write back. This is capitalism done the right way. If you have access to the person who you're buying it from, that's capitalism done right. That's why you see, even with the white people, they want everything sourced locally. They want it to come from a farm up the road as opposed to coming from across the country, because they have access to the person they're buying from. That's 100%. Done right. But when you have this central figure who lives on the other side of the country, who's supposed to be representing a religion.
Oh, guys, go ahead and keep going. I gotta walk my son out, but go ahead.
When you have this central figure who lives on the other side of the country, who you have no access to whatsoever, and you're putting money in a pot in faith that he's leading you down the right spiritual path, you are being exploited. That is it. It's not, there's no real connection there. Everybody should have a connection with the person who they're following. If you don't have a connection with them, I mean, I understand some people have a big following and you can't get to them quickly, but you should at the very least be able to get a response in the age of technology or email, something from that person.
I agree with you 100%. And, there was so much money flowing through their hands. There should have been more millionaires than just Elijah and the royal family. There should have been a lot more millionaires coming out of the nation. There was so much money that was flowing through their hands. I've heard stories. A brother named Charles 37X, he was a bodyguard for Malcolm at one point in time. And he was saying that what they call the royal family, which is Elijah's family, his children, they call them the royal family within the Nation of Islam, which is something else that's kind of cult-like, but that's besides the point. If they found out that one of the rank and file had a dog, they would even get on their case for them even having a dog. Like, that was just too big of a luxury for them to even have a dog. It was
money that could go to the nation.
Exactly. And meanwhile, they have fur coats and Cadillacs, and it's a bad story. And when I heard that comment that that Malcolm's personal secretary said that he only had $150 in his pocket at the time that he died, between that and seeing the William Bradley send off, it just puzzled me for the night. I didn't even sleep well. After watching it.
Hold on, let me say one thing. Somebody said, how woke is it believing in the enemy's documentary? Here's the thing. The documentary is just information that's being shared, and we're having a discussion based on that information. No one said that they believe it. We're just talking about how the information made us feel. And we got to stop doing that. We have to stop pigeonholing ourselves. Every time something comes out that may not be what you want to hear, you can't just say, that's the enemy's. How woke are you drinking the enemy's water? How woke are you eating the enemy's food out of the grocery store? I don't care if it is Whole Foods. So that's just a Negro stalling tactic right there. Right now, you have the Pan-Africanist, me, Dynas, this brother here. We are on here bringing information, knowledge, and opinions to the other Pan-Africanists because we understand the role that this all plays in us coming together. So a lot of people like to be on individual stuff, or they want to put their religion before what we need to do. You got to step outside of your emotional, your little emotional perimeter and look at things objectively. Dynas invited everyone to get on the show if they want to. How woke is hiding in the comments trying to throw shots at everything being said? You could come on here and say something. Prove that you are well-versed, well-studied in what you believe in right here. It's opened up to you.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm critical of the documentary. I think that there's a lot of things that were left out of the documentary. For instance, them not saying Farrakhan's name, but that doesn't mean that the whole documentary is a lie. There's a lot of primary sources that you can take from, and you can pick and, you can sift through, grab facts and leave what you don't need. So, I mean, of course, I think that we should be critical of a documentary, especially of the platform that it's on, it being Netflix. Yeah. And we know where the money might have come from to bring that documentary to us, but that don't mean that we can't learn something from it.
It's nothing. It's not. Look, if nothing else, this should give all the people who may not be as well versed on Malcolm X's life as they should be, inspiration to go and study about this brother's life. That's what this is for. It's not about teach. It's not really about convincing you. It's to spark the flame of interest in you so you can go learn all you can about a brother who was really who was a chosen brother to help our people get to the next stage of our journey, right?
Sangador, I see someone. I see somebody in the.
Real quick, Sangador, I saw your comment. Invite somebody from the NOI on here. Didn't Dynas just invite everybody to email them if they want to get on? Yeah, everyone's been invited.
Yeah, I see the brother is asking about why nobody's talking about John Ali, who was right next to Elijah and spying on Malcolm. John Ali is definitely a key factor in this because another thing that wasn't talked about in the documentary is that John Ali and his wife and Malcolm and Betty, they actually shared a duplex in the late 1950s. They were real close. John Ali was close with Malcolm. Like I said, they shared that duplex. But John Ali was pretty much, it was an open secret that he was working for the FBI. Elijah knew it. Everybody knew it, that this guy was a spy. And it got to the point where when Malcolm was on the outs with the nation, that John Ali was just popping up everywhere. Like Malcolm would speak in LA, John Ali was there. Malcolm would speak in Philadelphia, John Ali would be there. So he was definitely keeping tabs on Malcolm's whereabouts and reporting that information back either to the nation or the FBI or both. So yeah, he definitely played a key role. He actually was on the radio saying openly that they were trying to kill Malcolm.
Yeah, there was a lot. Sorry, Tech, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Suatech. Yeah, if I was taking over the conversation a little bit, I apologize to you if that offended you, brother. I'm not trying to take over. There's a man right here.
All right, what's good? I had to walk Master to the car. His mom just came and got him, so I am back. Let's see what we got in the email. So yeah, but anybody with the NOI who wants to call in, send me an email, and then by all means call in.
Yeah, when you were gone, Dynas, they were saying a lot like you need to bring somebody from the NOI on.
There's people in the NOI. I'm like, here goes the email. Call in.
I definitely want to talk to you.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I want to talk to you.
Hey, I buy bean pies from the brothers from the NOI like every weekend.
I love the bean pies. I love the fish sandwiches.
The best bean pies in Atlanta. There's some brothers off of Old National and Gobby Road.
I'm in Atlanta too. Wow.
In Atlanta.
I'm in LA. Wow. I'm in Long Beach, as a matter of fact, but I do support them brothers.
I'll tell you where in LA. Slauson swap meet.
I know.
Bean pie. Slauson swap meet.
Hey, I used to hit up the Slauson swap meet, get the bean pie, and then go to the Marathon store, Nipsey Hussle spot, and buy socks and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, if you're a member of the NOI, please email me uhuru@searchforahuru.com. uhuru@searchforahuru.com, so you can jump on.
Dynas, I want to say this too before they get on. Feel free to take me out whenever. But what I noticed is I have made a video on my channel about the NOI, the new NOI, where you got these young brothers, Riz Islam, I think his name is Ben X or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was saying how these young dudes are being put to the forefront by Farrakhan, because these are like the new lesser versions of Malcolm X. These are the young guys who will be put to the forefront, and essentially they're so passionate about the NOI and Nation of Islam, they're not going to ask for anything. Rizza Islam came to one of my study groups to speak. He didn't even ask me to pay him. What does he have?
Wow.
He's not rich, but they're falling into that same pattern.
No, I believe as far as Rizza Islam, I think him and his mom, they have like a clinic or something in LA.
Yeah, that's awesome. But what I'm saying is these brothers are passionate, but is there anybody when they're being invited to be the spokesperson for the NOI, when they're being put up to the forefront, are they really saying, look, brother, you're going to be in the forefront. This is what we're going to do for you for spreading our message to the younger generation. See what I'm saying? If you go work for a company, they're going to give you most times they'll give you something for, a bonus when you get the job, or they'll outline what you're going to, how your payment structure works and the different perks you're going to get for the job. Is anything like that being offered to them? Or is it just like put on your shoe, show up, and we're going to put you on the stage?
Well, I know they have their own enterprises outside of the Nation of Islam. I know that. So. Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I know they said they had a farm, but that farm was looking pretty sad on that Killer Mike special.
Killer Mike went to the farm. I didn't see the entire special. I just saw parts of it.
He went to a store that was stocked with the NOI's produce from their farm, but the store was empty. There wasn't nothing on the shelves except for like cans of beans.
Now,
Dennis Cunningham is saying that they committed fraud in a public case.
Grocery store in Compton, isn't there?
I've never heard of it. Miracle Market.
There's a NOI brother that owns them. I believe so in LA, in Compton or somewhere out that way.
It's probably a brother who owns it, but it's not touted as like an NOI grocery store, and they're definitely not sourcing things from the farm to that store. See, with the NOI, there's a lot of things that are claiming to be done, but I'm not seeing the impact of any of these things. And we're in major cities. That's where you got to kind of squint your eyes like, okay, you got farm. You can get 1 million brothers to go to Washington, but you got a farm, but you ain't got no, you can't get up in Aldi's, you can't get up in Stater Brothers. You know, that's easy.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, the money, I see somebody was mentioning that there was a public case that Reza and his people, I don't know about it, so I'm not going to speak on it.
It was supposedly fraud with his mom's clinic or whatever.
So
I know he's out. He's out of jail. He was locked up for a couple weeks, but I know he's out. But I don't know what's going on with that. And I really don't want to speak on it because I don't know.
Don't speak on that, brother, because we don't know the details.
I don't
know the details at all. I just saw somebody mention that was the deal. Yeah, I don't know any of the details.
That brother is passionate. I don't agree with his religious beliefs, but that brother is passionate and he really is trying to help people. We got to stop tearing people down based on, man, I've been to jail before. You know what I'm saying? Over traffic tickets and stuff like that. We don't know what happened. He ain't giving the information, so don't even speculate on him.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have the facts on it, you know, so I don't want to speak.
Well, I will say about a lot of the young people that's coming up with the nation, I will say that prior to this documentary coming out, and I don't know if they had knowledge that this was being worked on to something, but between Nuri Muhammad and Wesley Muhammad, they have been on the "We Did Not Kill Malcolm X" campaign, just like religiously. Every video that you see with them has been titled "The Nation Didn't Kill Malcolm," what really happened, and all of these things. And they kind of quiet right now too, and I find that to be really interesting. They were campaigning heavy a few months ago about how they didn't kill Malcolm.
Dynas, why the guy Shabazz Allah, why he don't come on since he got so much to say?
I don't know.
Man, people got to understand. We do not hate the NOI. Why would I hate the NOI then turn around and buy things from them? Why would I buy
personally don't.
Them? My brothers who are in the NOI come to my house. We sit up and we talk about all kinds of things. And even brothers in the NOI say, brother, a lot of things have to change. I asked the brother the other week, what happened to when y'all used to have the fish markets and all that, all up in Inglewood and stuff? What happened to those enterprises? Why they
gone? And the steak and takes.
But they say the same thing. Things need to change. But those guys are not at the top of the power structure. So what can Farrakhan, the people in the league need to change this stuff. But it sometimes feels like they don't want to.
All right, so Shabazz Allah's not to call in. Let's see here. Anybody from the NOI? Well, shout out to my frat brother in the chat room. Farrakhan does a lot in Chicago. I mean, he does. He does a lot in Chicago. Let's see here. Again, any members of the NOI that want to call in, please.
Can I ask a question, Dinah?
Of course.
Why Farrakhan does a lot in Chicago, and I'm not criticizing Minister Farrakhan, but all these years, shouldn't the foundation have already been built to stop all the stuff that's going on right now? Like, you can say somebody does a lot, right? But Farrakhan is all over in the Middle East. He's on all these panels doing all this stuff. If you in Chicago, and Chicago is like the ground zero for Black death in America for the past couple of years, shouldn't you publicly be out there in Chicago? Damn near, that should be the only place you at, because you got to fix that situation in the city where you live. Why are we all being called to march to Chicago? Why are we marching to Washington when Chicago is where the problem is?
That's a question for the NOI. Like I said.
And when people say that he's done a lot, what exactly has he done?
All I know is he talk a lot.
Didn't the FBI try to get Malcolm to turn on the NOI and he refused? Well, he kind of did.
That's true.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
I mean, not on behalf of the FBI, but he did turn on the NOI as far as, you know, putting the allegations about Elijah Muhammad sleeping with underage girls and getting them pregnant and stuff like that. So,
well, those weren't allegations; those were facts. He just basically revealed facts.
He put the truth out.
Though. And you know what too? If anything about the autobiography and stuff is true, what it says, he went to Elijah Muhammad. He tried to work that out in-house.
Right.
But they refused to even recognize the wrong that had been done. So then the brother left, and then he had to publicly separate from that because he couldn't be associated with hiding that. I understand how that works.
If I can also add one thing in, people make it like this is another thing that was left out of the documentary. They make it like Malcolm, like Elijah was sleeping with these young girls, and Malcolm had a problem just off the basis of him alone sleeping with the young girls, which he shouldn't have been doing, especially since that wasn't having multiple wives was not a Nation of Islam teaching. But Malcolm's big problem that he had with Elijah Muhammad was not just the fact that he was sleeping with and impregnating these young girls. He was charging them with fornication and having them kicked out of the Nation of Islam. Like he was charging them with fornication. They would have a trial and then they would be kicked out of the Nation of Islam. Like he would sit as the judge in the trial, charge them with fornication for sleeping with him. He's the father, and then kick them out of the nation. I swear to God. I swear to God. And this is what Malcolm had a problem with. It wasn't just the young girls alone. It was the fact that they were being kicked out on charges of fornication, and Elijah Muhammad was the one that was fornicating with him.
Facts. It's a mess.
And that was completely left out of the documentary.
Somebody said, what is Farrakhan doing in Chicago? He from the South Side. I went to Chicago. I've been going to Chicago for the past 5 years. I don't see what he's doing. And I'm looking.
Hold on, Newt. Nas Media. Do you want to call in? Because you're in Chicago. You want to call in? If you want to call in, let me know.
This man, all this stuff, Dynas, it just only further proves what we trying to say. We need to stop trying to rally behind these different religious sects and cults and different organizations, and we need to just unite and rally around Pan-Africanism, which is basically encompasses it all. But our focus needs to change. See, the people who are getting offended about things being said by Farrakhan and NOI, they're offended because their entire focus is on that religion. And it's like, brother, religion and faith is one aspect of life. There's so many different things that make up your life.
Now, was Khalid Muhammad supposed to be next in line after Farrakhan?
I don't know if that's kind of a funny type of position, because one thing that Elijah and I still don't think Farrakhan has chosen a successor. If he has, it may be his son-in-law, but I'm not sure if that's like an open thing. I know Elijah didn't openly choose a successor either. So, I mean, people just assume with him being out in the forefront that he would be the successor. Just like now, some people think that Nuri Muhammad might be the one to succeed Farrakhan. I know at the time that Khalid was in the nation that he was the national spokesperson. So I think a lot of people assumed that he was the heir apparent, but I don't think Farrakhan ever said that.
I forgot the brother's name of the NOI, the brother that's in the UK. Dark skinned, bald hair brother, skinny.
I've seen him, but I don't know his name.
He's in the UK, he's in London. That's the brother I like from the NOI to succeed Farrakhan. I can't think of his name though.
The thing is, what does it mean? What does this say about the organization when you got a man who's in his like 80s and he's been very sick to the point of death, and now he came back and is healthy, and he doesn't see it fit to name a successor? Like, that is what gets me.
Hold on. Let me stop you right there. This is black leadership in general, though.
Facts.
All across the board. Like with this older generation, they don't name a success for nothing. They want to die and take all the glory with them, which is you Negroes figure it out.
But most of them don't have a influence like Farrakhan. Like, once that guy is gone, those dudes are going to be lost. There's going to be infighting, and it's going to break all up. We already know what's going to happen.
I agree.
It's almost like it's just there to keep black folks pacified. Like,
and not having a successor affected the money in Elijah's situation, because you're talking about millions of dollars in property, like farmland all over the place, mansions and everything. And you know where all of that went when Elijah died? It went right back to the state, because he didn't leave a will to appropriate anything that was infighting. And basically all of that property that Elijah had amassed for himself, basically after he died, it's not really in his family's hand anymore. It all just went back to the state.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. It's like all the money should have been left in a trust to the organization. That's what the white organizations do. They leave it in a trust to be overseen by an executor of state over the organization, so they can make sure that the money won't fall into the hands. Because that's like nepotism, right? Like, you give it to your family, they're not necessarily going to do what's supposed to be done. They may not feel as strongly as you do, but it's like a black person dying with no life insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know what's going to happen. And it's almost as if the powers that be won't allow him to do that, because they're probably like, once you're gone, this crap's gone. You know what I'm saying? So don't even try to keep it going, after you're done. Then he's sitting up there smiling with his hair parted to the side, and he's giving you guys jewels, and everybody feels like they're learning, and oh yeah, but there's no end game. Whatever happened to getting our own land? Whatever happened to separation from the United States? You don't even hear that anymore. All you hear them doing is commenting on current events.
Well, I know at one time they were talking about actually separating from the United States of America.
That's the whole agenda of the whole organization. But we don't even hear about that anymore. We got him on here.
I'm sorry, brother. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm talking too much. Somebody said I was talking too much.
No, you are kicking facts. I'm sorry about that. But basically that was another thing that Malcolm grew disappointed in as well, is that he felt like basically Elijah and his family had amassed all of his money, and we got the millions now, and I don't really see any real effort to us even getting a large piece of land here or somewhere else. That was a part of the solution that Elijah laid out. When you read his work, this was a part of his solutions, either that we get like a separate piece of land somewhere here and basically separate ourselves. His solution was separation. But basically in action, it was to really just keep preaching and keep bringing in money. And this is another thing that Malcolm also had a problem with. He talked about that.
Dinas, can I say something to kind of put things into perspective when we're talking about this? Okay. As you know, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, right? Mm-hmm. When I was young in the 80s, the Jehovah's Witness organization was not that big. We would do our conventions in the theater at Lamert Park. You know that theater over at Lamert Park?
Yeah.
We would do our conventions there, right?
Now listen, without to cut you off. There's a Jamaican restaurant over there called Aki Bamboo. Off the chain. Aki Bamboo.
Hey, the best festival bread and the best beef patties in LA, period.
I used to go over there and get the it was a fish I used to get.
Salt fish.
I forgot what it was.
It was the brown stew fish. That sounds good, man.
Yeah, it was stew fish, tilapia. Oh my god.
Oh man, that's probably a snapper. Probably red snapper.
It was
that's
a snapper.
What the Jamaicans.
It was a snapper or the tilapia. I forgot. Man,
it was probably the red snapper. That's what the Jamaicans be making.
Yeah, I used to make bamboo all the time, man. Go ahead.
Okay, so when in the 80s, when I was young, we would do our conventions at that little tiny theater, right? And we fill it out. Now, from the 1980s, right? So let's say 1985. From 1985 to now in 2020, but long before this, even if you could go to 2010, the Jehovah's Witnesses now meet in Long Beach at the convention center, a humongous convention center. They fill it up. They rent it out every single weekend of the summer, all 3 days, right? Every weekend of the summer. They went from that little theater to that big convention center every weekend, and that's only the ones that are in Southern California, right? They fill it up. They are so big, they have to pick different congregations to meet there on different weekends so everybody can go to the convention. That's called growth. From 85 to 2005, they went from a tiny theater to a convention every single weekend of the summer. You don't see that growth in any of these black groups. You don't see that growth even in the NOI. Why? It's not because we can't grow it because the white man's holding us down. It's because the leadership is purposely keeping it where it is so that they can continue to capitalize on it with no one really paying attention enough to call them for what they are. Our leaders are purposely stagnating the growth of all of our organizations.
Mm. Yeah. What we'll do, we'll go ahead. I mean, no one wants to call in, so we'll go ahead and close out. Brother Pan Africanism Strikes Back. Shout out to Paige, where everybody can follow you.
My page is Pan Africanism Strikes Back. I only talk about Pan Africanist topics. Really, I only care about Black people and us going back to Africa. Even if you can't go back, build a connection with the brothers over there so that we can do what we have to do to strengthen up our bond, because the only way we're going to survive the future is if Blacks here, Africans there come together, build up an economic base, and just start loving each other, man, and building in that direction. So please like and subscribe to my page. Go check out my videos, and I'll keep on posting. And if Dynas will have me, I'll keep on coming up on here. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Peace.
No problem. Eric Summers, go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, so my name is just Eric Summers. You can follow me on Facebook under Eric Summers, Instagram I'm Eric Summers, YouTube I'm Eric Summers as well. I'm a hip hop artist, so check out my music. I have done songs on the topic of Malcolm X, and I also put out a review of the documentary that you can check out on my page as well. So yep, Eric Summers, that's EricSummers.
All right, brother.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you lending your platform to me, brother. And I definitely respect your work.
No problem, brother. No problem. Everyone, with that being said, thank you for joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, Also go to dynastymir.com. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.